Hello ladies and gentlemen, I have a very special treat for you this evening. This is actually my tryout for the IPL casting contest, so I thought I would upload it for everyone and show an amazing match. This is actually between two of my favorite players, both Korean players, so you'll find out who they are once you get to the introduction, or you can just look up to the top of the screen, the starboard, but play along and just listen to the introductions. So in the upper right hand corner of Daybreak, we have the blue Zerg player, FXO.Leenock, and his opponent, the red Protoss player. From the team StarTale, we have Parting. So, this is an amazing match. Like, I'm so excited to cast it. It's just going to be a great one-on-one match. I'm a huge fan of both of these players. I was actually present at MLG Providence to watch Leenock defeat Naniwa in the finals and win the grand championship of the MLG. So it was definitely, one of the best experiences I've had, watching Leenock come, make an extended series, and then go ahead and beat Naniwa with some amazing, basically mind games the entire time. He'd cancel his expansion, he'd leave his expansion up, he'd hit a roach timing that Naniwa wasn't completely expecting. He did a roach timing and be successful with it, that Naniwa was defending the entire tournament. So it was almost destined those two would play each other in the finals. Just watching all of their matches in person, those two were playing on a level that no one else was playing at. So it was definitely very, very exciting to watch. And enough about Leenock. I mean, Parting is definitely one of my favorite up-and-coming Protoss players. I mean, he's been proving he's one of the best players on his team, and he's just going to continue to get better and better. He's young. Well, Leenock is also, but Parting is really starting to just make a name for himself, and he's been impressing everyone left and right. So let's check out what is going on. We do have a Forge Fast Expand. It looked like it was a Nexus first, Nexus before Forge for Parting. So he's going to go with kind of a more greedy version. Daybreak is such a huge map, you can do that very safely. He didn't get a scout out into Leenock yet, so he didn't know if there was going to be a super early pool, but he kind of assumed there wasn't, only because this is, as I've noted before, is such a large map. We do have the probe working its way out for Parting now. He's going to work his way across the map and get as much scouting information as he can. We do have the overlords spreading out over the map. The first one's going to come right over the natural for Parting, and it's just going to try and get as much information as possible. He is going to see that it is a Forge Expand. The gateway is almost completed, as well as the first cannon, and that probe is going to be just chased off by some Zerglings, and he is going to see that Leenock is going to do a very fast third. So he's doing the there's two responses that people usually do against a Forge Expand build. The first is get very aggressive and try and break it. If not break it, at least try and do some damage, get some roaches, try and destroy the Forge so that it slows down their upgrade, try and destroy the Gateway, the Cymerics Core, or just get in and force units, force damage, get very aggressive with it. And the other version is exactly what Leenock's doing, is take a super fast third. You know your opponent can't kill you right now, so it's smart to expand. Anytime you know your opponent can't kill you, it's a great idea to expand, because that's going to put you ahead economically, and you're going to be able to get a much larger army late in the game. So we do have the Overlords getting in the perfect positions for as much scouting right on top of this high ground here. So Parting's going to have to use some air units or an observer to clear out some of these Overlords. So Leenock is going to get some excellent vision across the map with his Overlords. He does have his second hatchery up. He doesn't have it saturated yet. He's going to get some units going into there. He is supply blocked. No, he is not supply blocked at the moment. He did just get another Overlord out, and a whole bunch of drones are being taken down. And the third does finish, and he is walking his slow-ass queen over there. It's actually amazing how much faster queens are on creep. Like, you see it just taking its sweet time getting across the map, and then the second it hits creep, it just runs. It's an interesting thing to watch. So we do have this Stalker going out, just getting a little bit of map control. He's going to see what's going on, try and clear out a couple Zerglings. But the Zerglings are hanging out at this Elnaga Watchtower instead. So right now we do have Metabolic Boost on the way for Leenock. He's just going to get speed just to be able to get around, kill any stalkers that are loose on the map. We do have a probe coming around here, presumably to drop a proxy pylon somewhere. And there it is. There goes the first pylon. I assume we're going to see another one, and there it is. There's the second pylon. So for parting, we don't have any other tech revealed at the moment. Oh wait, never mind. He has gone up to 5 gates. He was hidden so well I didn't even see it. So he's going to go up to 5 gates, and it looks like we will probably see a gateway-based timing push. Oh, and it looks like he is going to lose that pylon, and he is not able to cancel the pylon, so that pylon is going to go down. But a warp-in of Zealots do scare away the Zerglings, so that pylon does live to see another day. As I was saying, I think we're going to see a timing at the third base of Leenock. That's typically the Protoss response to the fast third is you go up to about 5 or 6 gates, and then you do a timing attack right on that third to do as much damage as possible. It looks like, oh, those sentries almost get picked off, but they do force field themselves and get saved. That Stalker does die off, but the Zerglings are now stuck, and they are all going to die off once those sentries do get up, and there go the Zerglings. So he did get a Stalker out of it, and he did force some force fields, and a whole bunch of roaches are working their way up, and they are going to try and destroy this pylon. But here come the units. Excellent force fields, cutting off 2 roaches, and those roaches are, one is going to get away, and another pylon is being dropped, and it looks like this push is going to try and work its way in. He has used a good amount of force field energy already. He does have a couple force fields left, not a ton. It only looks like 3 or 4 left. So he is going to pull back, try and recharge some energy, and not try and push into this, because Leenock does have a very nice roach count. He is currently at 16 roaches and 20 lings, so that would be able to crush the unit composition right now that Parting has. So we do have the robotics facility. Oh, a whole bunch of Zerglings do get into the main, forcing the probes, killing off some mining time, and they're going to work their way into the main, and they're going to get a full scout, figure out what's going on. We do have some Zealots hanging out in the mineral line, so they are going to scare those Zerglings away. And we do have the pylon down here cleared up by Leenock's units, and those Zerglings are finally going to be cleaned up, but they did see the robotics facility being completed. I think we're going to start to see some Immortals coming out, but first, we're going to see an Observer. With this large number of roaches, Immortals do so much damage to them and take lesser damage because of their upgrade, because of the hardened shield ability, where they only take a reduced amount of damage while they have shields. So they are an excellent counter to roaches. They do so much damage, but it looks like Leenock is going to try and work his way around this side, see if he can sneak into the third. Parting is going to work his way back to the third just to be safe, kind of protect that third, as well as naturally he's just going to pace back and forth. And Leenock is doing the exact same thing, pacing back and forth up around the where he would take his fourth and that upper top corner. He's just going to check there, make sure there is no ninja expansion, and Parting is going to hang out and do what he's going to do. We do have the Twilight Council just finishing up, so we may see a blink coming up very soon, or we may see, yep, there is the blink. And Aspire is on the way for Leenock, so we may see a transition into Mutalisks. He does not have a hive yet. No, he's still on Lair Tech, and he's Leenock is going to try and take down those rocks, but Parting is waiting right there for him. He does have the Observer, so he does see everything that is going on, and he's going to try and poke him. That is not a great engagement for Parting, but he does get some excellent force fields, and he's able to kill off those roaches. He needs to pull those Zealots back so that they don't die for no reason. He's going to pull them back, and the Stalkers are going to finish off those roaches that did get caught. That was actually an excellent set of force fields for Parting, catching about 6 or 7 roaches, getting basically free units. I'm not sure he lost anything, maybe a Zealot or 2, but it does look like we have some more roaches coming around to the third, but there are Stalkers there, and the units do reinforce for Parting to cut that off. So Parting actually has his units split really well. He knows the amount of roaches that Leenock has, so he is going to try and keep enough units there to keep himself safe. Excellent force fields again, dropping about 6 more roaches. Those are going to die off, and they're going to try and do as much damage as possible, killing off 1 Stalker, but that is an excellent trade for Parting. He is keeping himself safe, and it looks like Leenock is sending a whole bunch of Lings across the map. He is going to try and push in with Roaches and Ling. He does have Burrow movement as well as Roach speed, so those Roaches are going to be able to burrow under any sort of force fields or anything like that. So Leenock is going to go up to the third, and he is going to push in. It's some decent force fields. Doesn't get any Lings, but he does force Leenock to push back. We do have another engagement down at the ramp of the third. Excellent force fields, trapping all of those Lings in there, but the Lings are going to try and run by, but they're all going to die very, very quickly before they do any sort of damage, and the Roaches are stranded out there alone, passing off the Lings. It's funny, because Parting is almost 50 supply behind, but he is in an excellent shape right now. He is keeping himself very safe. He is on 4 bases. Leenock has taken it. Parting is on 3 bases. Leenock has taken his 4th base, and it looks like Parting does want to do a little push out here. He is going to try and just scare off Leenock, get himself very safe, but Leenock isn't easily scared. He is coming right back. The Mutas are now mixed into this composition, taking out that Observer since he did have the Overseer there, and we do have a good amount of Stalkers, so he should be able to deal with these Mutalisks. Only 1 Immortal in there, so the Roaches may give him a little bit of trouble. Looks like he was going to poke over to the third, and now he is cutting back towards the natural, and Parting is actually going to be out of position, so he's going to get an excellent push right in here, but he still does have to get out the wall, and he goes right into Parting. Excellent force fields, but Parting actually did cut himself off from the rest of his base. So if Leenock wanted, he could try and sneak into the main, but he is not going to. And here he goes. He's going to go at that natural again. He's going to try and take down that Forge, and Parting is caught out of position again, and the Lings are going to run right in. Excellent blink out of the way. In come the units into the main. He is going to lose that cannon. He is going to go for the Templar Archives, which actually has finished researching Storm, I believe, but no more High Templars, and Parting has already restarted. The Mutas are flying off to the side, and it looks like the Roaches are going to be cleaned up in the main, but the Mutas are coming over to the natural, and they are going to be able to take down that cannon and do a good amount of damage, killing off a good amount of probes. There is still a couple Roaches in the main that have been finally cleared up, and a whole bunch of Mutas are coming back in, and the Mutas are thwarted, but they did get a good amount of probe kills there. We do have the flock of Mutas just hanging out back there, biding their time, waiting for an excellent time to strike, and Leenock is just massing up his army. Parting has caught up in the army count at the moment, though, and the Mutas are working their way into the natural. They are scared off by some Stalkers. They did pick off a couple of probes, it looked like, but not a ton of damage. Parting is getting very active on the map with some Stalkers. He actually has his units split really well. He has a good amount there, a decent amount here, and he has some Stalkers in the main, so he is well covered against the Mutalisks, who are working their way back into the main, and there is no cannon there, so they are actually going to be able to do a good amount of damage, especially with those Stalkers, and looks like they're just going to bypass, which is interesting. So Leenock does have some Banelings now, so he's going to try and do a ton of damage with those Banelings, as well as the Muta. It looks like he's kind of transitioned into Ling Muta, as opposed to a heavy Roach composition. And Hive is finally on the way, as well as Pathogen Glands for his Infestors. That is a lot of Mutalisks. They're actually going to be able to deal with those Stalkers, and warping in more Stalkers, but there are just so many Mutalisks there. He is going to have to bring all of his Stalkers, and a good amount of Mutas killed, but a good amount of Stalkers killed as well. So really, not a huge amount of damage. Oh, and the Banelings are going to run right into Stalkers. Excellent blink back, excellent force fields, but it looks like the Banelings are going to take out a couple Stalkers, and the Mutas are going to try and clean everything up, but they are scared away. In come the Lings trying to go after the Stalkers, and it looks like those Lings are going to get a couple Stalkers with the Mutas pushing in, and I actually think Leenock has a good amount of Mutas here, but no, they are scared away in a blink forward, picking off one more Mutalisk. So Parting is still about 30 supply behind, but it looks like the Mutalisks are also remaining very active on the map, and they're going to try and work their way into the third, and they're going to kill off 2 High Templars, and the Stalkers are going to scare them off, but they did get those 2 very expensive High Templar units. Looks like we do have more Roaches coming up, and the Roaches are currently upgraded at 2-0, and the Mutas are upgraded at 1-0. Whole bunch more banelings morphing in, and it looks like they're going to try and engage at that ramp, and good force fields scaring away Leenock and trapping a couple roaches so that he can get even more free roaches. This has been like an all-you-can-eat roach buffet. Parting's force fields have been so good. He's just been cutting off those roaches, getting so many free roaches. And here he comes into the third. He's going to try and take out that cannon. Parting is out of position. He's trying to deal with roaches at his main. And Parting is going to have to cut back. And it looks like that Nexus is going to... No, it is not. He needs one more volley of attacks to take out that Nexus. It looks like he's not going to. And the blink forward scares away those roaches. And the Nexus lives to see another day. That, all it needed was one more volley. Holy crap. Right now it's only 108 HP. One more volley would have taken that out. 14 more banelings on the way, as well as corruptors, and a Grey Spire is almost completed, so we are going to see that dreaded Broodlord Infestor composition. Parting is taking his fourth. Leenock has already taken his fifth base. In terms of upgrades, we have the Lings are still at 1-0. The Roaches should be at 2-0 still, that is correct. And Parting is 3-1 with shield upgrade number 2 on the way. I'm sorry, armor upgrade number 2 on the way. We have 10 Broodlords morphing in from Leenock, so he is going to start to get a really scary army. It actually doesn't look like he has an Infestors mixed in. He does not. So those Stalkers are actually going to be able to do a decent amount of damage. A whole bunch of Zealots warped in at the fourth for Leenock. They did get cleaned up, but they did get a couple drones there. It was with the Warp Prism, which is about to get cleaned up with those Mutalisks. And Parting is working his way, getting a central position on the map, since he does have this fourth base here, as well as positioning his fifth base all the way up in the top right. Top left, I'm sorry. So he's going to work his way basically between these two bases, keeping them as safe as possible. Keeping units, a couple High Templar there for storms at the third base, and it looks like armor upgrade is about halfway done. But here come those Broodlords working their way across the map. An excellent storm on the first set of Broodlords. 3-4 storms going off, but transfuses from the Queens. Excellent move by Leenock, and it forces Parting to pull back. The Broodlords are going to work their way across. Oh, it looks like Leenock is going to retreat, and he is going to get a Spinecrawler army, Spinecrawler wall up and going. So Parting is going to work his way back to his base. And that is a lot of Broodlords. How many is that? That is 8, 9, 10, 12 Broodlords. So that is a very, very good number. We do have some Stalkers over in the third for Leenock, picking off as many workers as he can. He is actually getting a good amount of workers. Overcome the Mutas to clean that up, but I'm not even sure that's enough moves. Okay, the Roaches do come in, finish that off. And we do have an engagement here. The Broodlords are working their way through those Stalkers. He actually doesn't have an excellent engagement path, but a good Psystorm, a second good Psystorm with those clumped up Broodlords, and another Psystorm right on those Broodlings, and they should get cleaned up by the cannons. We do have a whole bunch of Stalkers working in. We have an engagement here. Excellent Fungal getting a large amount of the Stalkers. They can't blink away, but Parting is going to pull out. He does not want anything to do with that army. Broodlords, slow as they are just working their way across, and now he's going to try and pick off units as he runs away. There goes the last of the Mutalisks, and a whole bunch of Roaches are still there. Those Broodlords are slow, so Parting is going to try and take advantage of his speed, and he is actually going to cut behind. We have the Broodlords attacking this fourth base, but the Stalkers are cutting off reinforcements. An excellent Fungal, but he does get the Infestor. A whole bunch of Roaches. Leenock actually had the better concave there. And it looks like the Roaches are going to go and join, and this Nexus should fall very soon, and there goes the fourth for Parting. And I'm actually not sure that Leenock knows about this fifth base. No, he has no idea about that fifth base, so that might be an excellent X-Factor. So Stalkers walking in, they're going to try and do as much damage into this fourth base. Some Roaches come over, but that's not enough. And down goes the Infestor, and those Roaches are going to get cleaned up, as well as a whole bunch of drones. But it looks like the third base for Parting is in a whole bunch of trouble, but those Broodlords are completely unexposed. They have nothing protecting them. Leenock had to pull back all of his units to deal with these Stalkers, and these Broodlords are out in the open, and we do have a mothership almost completed. as well as a Void Ray coming out. That Void Ray could do a ton of damage. He has no anti-air with those Broodlords, no Corruptors, and no Infestors with them. So that Void Ray is going to get out and do a good amount of damage. He might be able to pick off 3 or 4 of these Broodlords before anything even comes. Those Broodlords are going to do a good amount of damage, but oh, excellent feedbacks on those Infestors. The Infestors are going to go down quickly, and they have no energy now. And the Void Ray has taken out a couple Broodlords already. It looks like how many kills that has? He has 3, and finally the Corruptors come, and they're going to try and clean up that Void Ray, but not without him getting 4 kills. And this other Void Ray is going to get 1 more Broodlord kill. Parting is pushing back into the third. Drones have to be pulled right now, so those drones are going to die so quickly. I think Leenock wants to base race right now, but he has no idea about this other base up here where Parting has been mining. So those Broodlords are going to do a ton of damage. It actually looks like he's going to take out everything in natural and work his way right into the main, but that mothership is hanging out, guarding his buildings. The 5th base has gone down for Leenock again. That 4th has never been rebuilt. His 3rd is mined out, his natural is mined out, and his main is mined out. So Leenock has absolutely no economy right now. He has to win the game with this push. He needs to realize that there is another base there. The Stalkers are going to work their way in, just take out as much as they can. Down comes the Greater Spire, but he doesn't even need to take down that Greater Spire because Leenock can't produce units anyways. So the Broodlords are working their magic through that. The mothership is going to work its way across the map. As these Broodlords come, the drones have come, so Leenock is completely all in. He has no economy left. He has no way to produce units. Parting is going to destroy all of his unit-producing structures, so Leenock needs to win with this push. He's hoping to win via the base race, but unfortunately he has absolutely no idea about this base up in the top corner. And a Dark Shrine is coming down. I'm not sure how much use that Dark Shrine is going to get, but there are no Overseers in this composition for Leenock. So if a Dark Templar does get out, he's going to be able to do a ton of damage. And finally, the Stalkers are picking off the last of the buildings for Leenock. He is going to be forced to build an extractor. Yep, he's building an extractor over in Parting's natural just to get that taken care of. And down goes the majority of Parting's buildings. Leenock's buildings are about to be finished and fall. The mothership is hanging out to give some nice cloaking. And I don't think Leenock has any detection anywhere. In terms of units, he has no Overseers. So he has no detection whatsoever. So that is going to be so tough to deal with that mothership. And honestly, I think Parting's going to be able to take this. His army is superior, even though there's a million Broodlords. But he also has this mining base, which has not even been contested this entire game. So Leenock needs to figure out where Parting is before Parting gets in and kills the last of his buildings. So the last building left for Leenock is this extractor here, and that is it. So if Parting can destroy that before Leenock works his way up here and does a ton of damage, but he also has these 3 gateways here, so I really think Parting is going to be able to get in there. He still has that mothership with 2 vortexes. He does have a couple Archons to create the Archon Toilet and a whole bunch of Stalkers which can blink in and do a ton of damage. It looks like we are going to have one final engagement right here. The Broodlords are trying to take out that one High Templar, and it does fall down. And here comes the engagement. The drones are coming in. The Corruptors are targeting the mothership, and a Vortex gets every single one of the Broodlords except for 2, and they're just going to fly right into the Vortex. Parting sends all of his units into the Vortex. Leenock's units are just going to melt when this Vortex ends. Let's hope he stays long enough, and there go, every single one's the Psy Storms for good measure, and good game from Leenock. So thank you very much to the IPL, as well as Leenock and Parting, for allowing me to cast this game. It was definitely one of my favorite games I've ever casted. So I hope everyone at the IPL, as well as all of my viewers on YouTube, like this match. Thank you very much, and I appreciate you watching.